Very good afternoon, folks. We trust that you are well. Welcome to our international podcast, Below the Belt. Good to see each and every one of you, wherever you're joining us from in the world, guys. We are happy that you are here. We see Chevron McDonald is here, Marlon Lorimer is here, Beatrice Selby is here as well. Beatrice Selby is here. I see. Also, we have Gwyneth Anderson. I see Bantu King. Beryl Crawford, Stephanie Pearson is here. Yolanda Thomas, Debbie Apple. Debbie Apple is here, guys. Debbie is here, and Yolanda Thomas. Vanessa Andrews is here as well, good folks. And we're so happy Tessa Waterman is here as well, and Leon Blair. Leon, welcome. Vanessa Andrews, welcome as well. Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. Our technicians on duty, where our tech folks at? Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. Eva Tward, Beryl Crawford, Sierra Bell. Sia, good to see you. I ain't seen a little bit. Sia, you went missing, Sia. Good to see you, Sierra Bell. Angela Jones, good to have you as well. And Pam Halls. Out front parts, say I dare. Good to have you as well. Shakira Phillips, we see you, Shakira. Yep. New Jersey says they're hearing us loud and clear. Thank you, Technician Siobhan. Technician Siobhan. Good to see you. All right. The Rebel telling us she's been behind the scenes. Yep. Behind the scenes, right there. Gwyneth says hearing us loud and clear. Stephanie says loud and clear. Yep. Is it Florizel? Florizel here. Good to have you. Florizel. And all the other folks joining us, wherever you're joining us from, folks. Welcome. We got a couple things we want to share with you guys. Yep. A couple things trending we think you ought to know about. A couple things trending. Sia and Gwyneth and Glenda, Yvette Wolford, Tess and all the other folks. We got a couple things trending, guys. As you come on, share the live, smash that emoji button, guys, and let's go down the road. What's for lunch, guys? What's the weather where you at? What's the weather where you at, guys? Welcome to all those folks who are now joining us. We Below the Belt. Welcome, folks. And I am your handsome host, your extraordinarily handsome host, Shrod. How are you guys doing? Tessa, I can hear some people say, I beg to disagree. Privately, Donna, good to see you. Annette, good to see you. Gwyneth and all the other guys. Welcome to our podcast. Today we're discussing the state of the region, folks. That's our theme for today. A lot of people are going to be affected by this higher purchase bid in the region. This is what I want to tell you all. A lot of folks can be affected by this higher purchase bill. But first things first, before we get to that. What is it? Yolanda Thomas are looking like 1 billion or 47 billion? Thank you, Yolanda. Kay Suko want more money. That's the only time them boys come to Parliament, you know. What is in it for us? What is in it for we? That's what the guys always want to know. That is what they always want to know. Folks, but before we get to that, next door in Brazil, they're telling us that White House officials should be meeting with Inácio Lula da Silva next week. They ever met with the other fella? They ever meet with Bolsonaro, Jair Bolsonaro? They ever met with him? You know, the White House little thing is, you know. They know they throw their own shade. And they're telling us they're going to be meeting with Lula Inácio da Silva next week, according to White House officials. They're going to be meeting with Lula. And it says here in our report that U.S. President Joe Biden, we're picking this up out of Reuters, Biden is planning to send 2 top advisors to Brazil to meet with President Lula Inácio Lula da Silva next week. That's what they're saying. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan and Latin America Advisor Juan Gonzalez are expected to meet with Lula in Brazil next week, December 5th, According to one source, the meeting is intended to reaffirm the partnership between the two countries. Yep, yep, yep. So that's going down in Brasilia next week. Good folks. Strangely, I've never been to Brazil proper. I've been across the border, went to Bumfin, took a drive around, loved the place, but I've never really gone into Brazil proper. And I'm sure, as beautiful as Bumfin is, as nice as the roads are, Brazilians would say, Sherrod, Bumfin is not Brazil alone. You got to see more of it. Never really been to Brazil proper, but I'm looking forward to it. I love new places, but it's getting there that's the problem. That 5 hours plane flight an hour, that's the problem. I like seeing the new places. So I'm in the process of inventing a teleporting mechanism. I'm in the process for my own private use, of course. They're flying and so on. Like I get too old now, you know. But the White House officials say they're going to be meeting with Lula and Inacio de Silva next week out front part. So don't go. Don't go. Out front parts is you in this lot. Don't think that you're claiming. The lottery, again, lottery company would have us know somebody has won $39 million since August. And then come to clear it yet. They have not come, folks, to pick up the money. Look, if you all got uses for this money, I could think of a couple things. We could do, expand our program, start at our own building, our own studio. They got a couple things, folks, we could do with this money. We got a couple things we could do with this money. So if all you got nothing to do with this church at 9 million, guys, most certainly, we could think of a couple things. We could think of a couple things. So let us know. If you got a ticket, you could pass it on. You don't want to pick it up. Church 9 million is beneath you. Do let us know. I know for some people, this church 9 million is beneath y'all. Church 9 million, who do you think we are? If that's not your cup of tea, we could help you skip it. We could help you skip, folks. Do let us know. Do let us know. All right. Do let us know, good folks. Do let us know. 39 million. 39 million. Still unclaimed. Anna Gordon still unclaimed. Out front parts, thanks for reminding me. Don't mention it. Don't mention it. Tessa says she's with me on the flying. Yeah, I love to be in new places. But it's the flying for me. It's the movements for me. Yeah. Annette Gordon, Annette Campbell, Bridget, Annette Cummins. Annette, I called your name wrong both times. Oh my God. The eyes, Annette, it's the eyes. You see, when I got my glasses on. Annette Cummins. Good to have you, Annette and Bridget Campbell. Dolly, we see you. We see you there, Dolly. Hello, Dolly. It's Sherrod, Dolly. So nice to have you here with us, Dolly. 39 million unclaimed. If that belongs to you, you might want to look into that. We wouldn't be upset with you if you send a bride this side. We wouldn't be upset with you at all. Good folks, we would not be upset with you at all. At all. If you send a little bride, please and thank you. You all know the times we're living in. Nothing is too small. Nothing is too small, folks. At all. While we're there, it's like the perfect segue. It is like the perfect segue to say to you guys, we don't run out of water here either. We don't run out of water, and that's why we say, guys, partner with us so that we can keep on keeping on, good folks. We can keep on keeping on doing what we're doing. Good to have so many of you on the live today, on the podcast. Partner with we, folks. We will via Cash App and Zelle and PayPal, MMG, MoneyGram, Western Union as well. 627-6963, 627-6963. That's the number you want to call, the number you want a message. For any guidance you need, folks, partner with us. Please and thank you. Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, MMG, MoneyGram, Western Union. I don't want to say it braggadociously, but it is what it is. Those are the platforms on which you can meet us, folks, and help us to keep on keeping on. Please do that for us. Yep, 39 million yet to be claimed. That being said, Mark Gorin, Councillor Mark Gorin of the Regional Democratic Council Region 10 has been elected as its vice chair this morning. Just this morning, folks. Mark Gorin elected as the vice chairman of Region 10. Region 10, the Regional Democratic Council there, Upper Demerara, Babis. Mark Gorin. And we want to say big congratulations to Mark. Been working hard there. Continue to serve the people of Region 10 and continue to make them proud. Yep. Looking forward to good works out of Mark Gorin, elected vice chairman of Region 10 this morning. This morning, folks. Pace and power, Mark. Pace and power. Pace and power. Pace and power. What's happening there? I see Marlon Lorman says she had to search. What's happening there, Marlon? Pray tell, Marlon. Marlon said, me neither. I had to search. What are you searching for, Marlon? Do let us know what you're searching for. What have you been searching for there? Do let us know. Good day, Beatrice Selby. Tessa Waterman. Good day to you, folks. All right. I see somebody's name on YouTube is My Phone. My Phone. Good afternoon. A name on YouTube, My Phone. Good afternoon to you too, My Phone. Debbie Hohen Court. Good to have you. Is it Uvern here? Is it Uvern Henry? I want to be correct. Uvern, good day to you. Good day to you, Uvern. Eula, Lafferman, Ruben. Great day to you guys. Great day to each and every one of you. My Phone as well. Margaret Barrow. Good day to you. Out front part. Good day to you. Good day to Mark Goring and all the other folks there in RDC Region 10, headed by an able chairman, always working hard. The man himself, Mr. Adams. Right, Mr. Adams. The man himself. So good day to all the folks down there at Region 10, the Regional Democratic Council. And as I said to you, Mark was elected this morning. And you know what? He had some words to offer in response to his election. He had some words to offer, and we want to bring that to you good folks. Are we ready, guys? Yep, the guy's telling us they're ready for that. Mark had some words to offer. Here's Mark's take on his election.
To be elected regional vice chairman or Regional Democratic Council, Region 10, with responsibility for Sub-Region 2, Aichuni, Fokwani, and the Borbus River. First and foremost, I must give God praise and thanks for spared life, good health, and strength, my family and friends for their overwhelming support throughout this journey, but most importantly, the regional chairman and councillors of this honorable council for giving me the opportunity to serve in this capacity. By your vote, you have demonstrated that you have confidence in my leadership and abilities to execute my duties. I also wish to thank the Honorable Raphael Trotman, founder, member of the leader of AFC, and my mentor for introducing me to what it really means to be a politician. And our job as a politician is to be a servant to the people and represent them well. To the regional executive officer and administrative officer, I want to continue working with you guys for the development of this beautiful and unique region. The task at hand is huge, but with wisdom, patience, understanding, and hard work, I will execute my duties without fear or favor in serving the people of Region 10 and the sub-region by extension. This 9th council intends to provide the maximum representation to the people of Ituni, Kokwani, and all the villages along the Borbish River within the boundaries of Region 10. As a regional, as a regional government organ, we believe all politics is local, and today my colleagues have demonstrated that by electing a suitable candidate to serve, someone with a background suited to understand the needs of the people of Subregion 2, inclusive of forestry, business, and agriculture, which provides the primary income for over 85% of Subregion 2 people. As many of you are aware, I am a logger by profession, a businessman, and chairman of the Regional Agriculture Committee. Once again, I say thank you for showing the confidence in me as your elected regional vice chairman. Thank you also to the MPs that are here and the MNTC councillor and the media and our auxiliary staff. Once again, I say thank you.
All right, there it is. There it is. There it is. Man of the moment, Mark Goring. Man of the moment. A lot of work ahead, folks. A lot of work to continue. Good job for the work the Regional Democratic Council has already been doing. A good job to you guys. Looking forward to great things. Looking forward to great things out of Region 10. Continued great things out of Region 10. Folks, we want to turn our attention now to the what do we have here? The final. We have it. Yep. The final issue we're going to look at today. The final issue we're looking at today, good folks. It's this mudslide out of Region 10 as well. The final thing trending before we get into the big issue, as it were, for today, which is the that higher purchase bill that could bring more hardship on the Guyanese people because it's so ill-timed in a way. But that mudslide out of Region 10 as well is on our radar. And, they're telling us now that though 3 homes were destroyed by that mudslide out of Region 10, this private contractor, Simon Harry, says that all of the workers that were working in the area at the time of this mudslide are safe. It was feared that one of the excavator operators was engulfed with all this mud and debris and so on. Right? It was feared that he was buried in all of this mud and debris and so forth. But we're happy to report that the private contractor, Simon Harry, says that all of their workers are safe, and there is no loss of life. There are no fatalities, thankfully. And here is some of that as well as it unfolded yesterday. Here's some of that.
Oh, Lord.
Reported live from the El Tabek show.
This Poker Street at the back of Poker Street by Bella. Yeah, this is Samuel. He store wood and everything. Claiming that you are waiting for a find it. You are waiting, looking after operating the same market. Sting break, we can fill up being soon. This was a cover man idea. The man, they walking in stages, but the thing come down to him.
cooling water from that.
Mhm. Claiming a man and he just dirty. Claiming a man and he just dirty.
At the post of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Telling him I can't run, yeah, left land. What's this land broke me by? What is the land break me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't run
So,
while I let this thing.
no, when dirty coming, you got quick boy. All right. You go take life boy. Nah, where's what the bear? You don't even know the getting up to the man.
Yep, folks, that's how that went down there. Region 10 yesterday. Quite an eventful 2 days in Region 10. Quite an eventful 2 days, but we are so happy. The guys are telling us there's no loss of lives. No loss of lives there. Lot to be grateful for. Lot to be grateful for. Yep. The higher purchase bill, folks. The higher purchase bill. The higher purchase bill had it come in. It's all front parts. The higher purchase bill. Seems like the interest going up. The interest going up. Who's gonna benefit from this? Poor people. This hard guava season. You're bringing more hardship on people. This is taxes through the back door. All right. Well, making the arguments yesterday in the National Assembly, we had Bernard Rajkumar. Mr. Rajkumar, MP of the coalition, the APNU AFC coalition, making the arguments also yesterday in the National Assembly. We had Amanda Walton this year, Member of Parliament. And we want to commend their presentations to you folks. And we can see you guys on the other side of the presentations by MP Rajkumar and MP Walton Desir. MP Walton Desir. Folks, this is what they said in the National Assembly yesterday as it concerns this higher purchase bill. Take a look, good folks, and take a listen.
The Honorable Member and former Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce.
Thank you, Mr.
Go ahead,
Speaker,
Honorable Member Hemraj.
for the opportunity for me to make my contribution on the debate on the higher purchase bill, bill number 14 of 2020. Mr. Speaker, Guyanese of all walks of life, more especially those of the low income bracket, would often find it challenging to purchase things for cash. Would have one time or another purchased something under the hire purchase agreement. Many families would have used this method of purchase to acquire and enjoy the use of vehicles, furniture, and other household appliances in circumstances where they could not have afforded the cash price. Very often, you will hear Guyanese speaking among themselves that how they have to band them belly and pay for the item little by little. Or you would have also heard the term work and pay for the things they have acquired. Minibus owners, hire car owners, chainsaw operators, weeders, are some of the persons who would have acquired these things using the hire purchase arrangement. Many businesses in Guyana also offer goods to the Guyanese consumer through the hire purchase arrangement. Both consumers and sellers benefit from this type of arrangement. Mr. Speaker, these types of arrangement, this business transaction is conducted by our people on a daily basis. And I agree that we should have legislation to regulate its operation. Mr. Speaker, Put simply, hire purchase transactions, the hire or buyer usually make an initial deposit, a down payment, toward the purchase price of the item, take possession of them, and give the buyer the undertaking that he will pay a sum of money in installment as rent for the period towards the purchase price. When the final installment is paid, the buyer then becomes the owner of the item. Until then, the ownership lies with the seller. This may appear a simple matter of buying and selling and paying in installments. However, difficulty and hardship sometimes arise when the buyer, for some legitimate reasons, fall back on his payment. Currently, the common law governs hire purchase transactions in Guyana. The seller remains the legal owner of the item until the last installment is paid. And should the buyer default in payment of an installment, the owner or the seller is entitled to forfeit all the payments made and has the right to repossess the article. This situation, unconscionable and unpleasant as it is, has been experienced and encountered by many of our citizens who would have lost their hard-earned money because they had the item repossessed due to the default in paying of an installment. The buyer would have suffered both loss of his money and the use of the item on hire. The buyer is at the mercy of the seller under these types of arrangement. On the other hand, Mr. Speaker, the seller runs the risk of default payment by the buyer. Sometimes the hirer would take goods from the seller, use it, and is reluctant to pay the installment as promised, and also refuse to return the goods to the seller. Some instances, the seller is unable to locate and recover the goods hired. Here, the seller would be suffering loss. The Hire Purchase Bill 2020, Bill number 14 of 2020, seeks to provide some amount of protection to both the seller and the buyer. It sets out to alleviate the hardship faced by the buyer under the hire purchase, credit sales, and conditional sales agreement, and also provide the remedy for the owner or seller against the delinquent buyer. When this bill is enacted, it will become illegal for sellers and their agents to seize goods sold under the hire purchase, credit sales, or conditional sales agreement, unless certain procedures are followed. The bill seeks to protect buyers under these types of agreement from having their items repossessed in the event they miss paying the installment. It sets out the procedure which the seller has to follow in order to repossess an item should the buyer default in payment. Mr. Speaker, the bill is divided in 4 parts. With Part 2 dealing with the requirements relating to the hire purchase, credit sales, and conditional sales agreement. It prescribes the constituent elements necessary for a valid agreement. It also provides the circumstances in which the agreement may become void. Clause 9 of the bill seeks to protect the buyer as it proposed that every agreement shall have implied warranty, that the buyer shall have and enjoy quiet possession of the goods, a right to sell the goods at the time the property passed to him, and the goods are free from any charge or encumbrance. There's also implied condition that where the buyer makes known the particular purpose for the item shall be reasonably fit for that purpose. These safeguards will be welcomed by our consumers. It should be noted that if the buyer decides that he does not wish to pursue the agreement, the bill gives the buyer an option of withdrawing from a signed agreement, provided that within 7 days, a notice of cancellation is served on the owner. So even though the buyer entered into a written agreement, he can opt out of that agreement by giving the required notice of cancellation within the specific time. Part 3 of the bill deals with recovery of possession and other remedies. It must be noted that under the common law, where a buyer defaults, the owner or seller can repossess the item bought under the hire purchase agreement. Clause 17 of the bill states that where the hirer has paid 70% or more of the hire purchase price, or the total purchase price, the seller would only be able to recover possession of the good by bringing actions against the buyer in the situation where against the buyer. In situation where less than 70% has been paid, the right to recover can be enforced where the seller gives the buyer 21 days notice of his intention to recover possession. Mr. Speaker, this will give the buyer notice of the seller's intention and an opportunity to correct the situation by paying the installment if he chooses. The seller's remedy against a delinquent buyer lies in an action in the magistrate's court. Clause 27 of the bill does not restrict the amount of money claimed in the magistrate court exercising its civil jurisdiction. There's no limitation to the amount claimed under this bill in the magistrate court. It is perceived that matters take a shorter time to be determined in the magistrate court as compared with the high court, and therefore litigation is expected to be of a shorter duration. Mr. Speaker, since the magistrate is a creature of statute, this bill should have given the magistrate the authority to award costs to the successful party after the action is concluded. We all know that litigation comes at a cost, and sometimes a very high cost. Mr. Speaker, we on this side have no issue what is in the bill. What we have an issue with is what is not in the bill. Mr. Speaker, we have heard the cries of the Guyanese consumers that the total cost of purchasing under the hire purchase arrangement is very high. You have to pay the down payment, the compound interest charge on the amount owed, the high interest rates charged on the outstanding balance, making this type of transaction extremely expensive on the long run. Consumers complain that they sometimes end up paying 2.5 to 3 times the cash price under the hire purchase arrangement. This is due mainly to the substantially high interest rate charge. This bill should have in some way addressed the concern of the high interest rates faced by the Guyanese consumer. Times are hard, our consumers are facing hell to make ends meet, and to add insult of injury, the meager 8% increase in public servant salary in these times of increased cost of living is more than an insult to our hard-working public servants. Mr. Speaker, the bill should have included a clause proposing to limit the amount of interest charged to by the seller. We in the opposition had recommended that there should be a limitation on the interest charge in the hire purchase transaction. We also recommended that the bill adopt and include a method of reducing balance in calculating the installments as opposed to the compound interest method which is currently being used. It was recognized that these two issues were relevant and must be regulated. Mr. Speaker, consumers across Guyana would have welcomed and appreciated the decision to limit the interest charge on hire purchase, credit sales, and conditional sales agreement. What would have been more welcome than to have a method of payment where you pay, the installments get smaller by using the reducing balance method. As you pay both the interest and the principal, and therefore As you pay, the principal becomes smaller, and hence the interest is reduced. So, in effect, you pay less interest as compared to the fixed interest rate, where the installment is calculated using the compound interest and is fixed for the entire period. Mr. Speaker, these two recommendations were made to the committee by our side of the House, and it was acknowledged that they had merit. Yet, without any discussion, they were cast aside, not considered, not included in the amended bill. And we asked why. Was it because we could not find a similar legislation from Trinidad or Barbados to copy? Is this how we show care and consideration for struggling consumers? Is this how we show care and consideration for our struggling consumers? We are aware that consumers are faced every day with high rising cost of living, and we should do everything in our power to make life easier for all Guyanese. By including these two recommendations, we would certainly demonstrate it that this government care for the consuming public. But again, we ask, why were these two recommendations not considered? Was it because it came from the opposition? Mr. Speaker, these are my observations on the High Purchase Bill 2020, Bill number 14 of 2020, and I urge the Honorable Minister, even at this stage, to consider the recommendations of limiting the interest rate charge and using the reduced basic method of calculating installments to include in the bill, even if we have to take it back to the select committee. Let us give the Guyanese consumer a legislation that they deserve, appreciate, and feel comfortable with. Let us include that which must be included for the benefit of our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. And now, Ms. Samantha Walton Desir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good afternoon. You know, Mr. Speaker, I was quite prepared to come here this afternoon and be my usual sanguine self. But, Mr. Speaker, I think I'm precluded from doing that for a number of reasons this afternoon. As has been stated, yes, we in the opposition supported the measures that have been put here today. I want to say to the Honorable Zulfikar that indeed these matters were raised, and I want to draw your attention to the minutes of the fifth meeting of the Special Select Committee at para 7.1, where it says, in response to a member's query on the limitation of interest charges or the method of calculating the installments, the committee agreed that this was a complex issue that must be regulated. In addition, the committee acknowledged that it might require the services of an accountant to examine the interest rates. This says to us, Mr. Speaker, that, and if we check the Hansard, we would see that there was some discussion on this matter. Mr. Speaker, the difficulty that I have is that it appears to me that my colleagues on the opposite side of the floor believe that, you know, because a measure comes from this side of the House, that it ought to be ignored. The honorable member stood there just now to talk about rewarding buyers. The point that we are making about how you compute the interest is a reward so that people, as they continue to pay, they pay down smaller and smaller. I am not an economist, but you are making the same point that we are making on this side of the floor. But the reality is that because it comes from this side of the floor, because it comes from this side of the floor, it cannot be accepted. In the minutes of the select committee meeting, it says that it must be regulated. It says that it must be regulated. And if we agree that it is a matter that must be regulated, that is our role as regulators. It is our role as regulators. But you know, Mr. Speaker, this is the difficulty that I'm having with my colleagues on the other side. The lack of legislative courage that they display. Mr. Speaker, they stand there and they heckle about why didn't you do it from 2020, and they operate as if the history of Guyana in 2015. They had 23 years to do this, did absolutely nothing, and then come to say, people of Guyana, that you must be grateful that we have finally put this on the agenda. Mr. Speaker, we have no difficulty supporting this bill, but we have a problem with the attitude of our colleagues on the other side. And I know the Honorable Hamilton is coming after me, and he will, in his usual bombastic manner, attempt to refute what I am saying, but he will be unsuccessful. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to say, Mr. Speaker, we support the measures here, but we believe the outline is possible. Mr. Speaker, when here, I hear my honorable member friend on the other side, Coy, talking about discrimination and why don't I speak to the discrimination. I have 30 minutes, I'm gonna get to it. Hold tight, hold tight. Mr. Speaker, the reality is that this bill does bring significant relief, but we believe more could be done. Mr. Speaker, the difficulty, like I said, like I said before, is the lack of legislative courage. Mr. Speaker, we have to begin to focus more on the quality of legislation. It appears to me that this government intends to rush legislation through this House, Mr. Speaker, to say that we did it without looking at the qualitative element of it. Mr. Speaker, it is the same thing that they did with the issue of marijuana. They went around this country saying, oh, we are decriminalizing, misleading the small man into thinking that they were going to be decriminalizing this issue. Mr. Speaker, myself and colleagues, the select committee, we pleaded with the chair of that committee to demonstrate the type of legislative courage that CARICOM brothers and sisters have demonstrated when it comes to the of marijuana, and they failed to do it because it appears we somehow enjoy this position of being last in the as the Honorable Zulfikar alluded. And so I'm saying in this House, Mr. Speaker, that we have to demonstrate the necessary legislative courage that really, really will impact the lives of people. Mr. Speaker, my colleague on the other side is talking about speaking to the bill. Yet when my colleague Hemraj came up here, oh, you must just say we support and it will be the end of that. That is not the end of that, because as I am standing here, Mr. Speaker, I will use the opportunity to say and to bring to our attention once more that the people of Guyana are suffering. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Member Zulfikar stood in this House and he spoke about the flourishing economy. The World Bank report, Mr. Speaker, says that 50% of Guyanese are living below the poverty line. What are they talking about? Who is this wealth going to? 50% of the people are living below the poverty line, Mr. Speaker. So what are we talking about? And then at 3:17 this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, we receive an email for a supplementary provision of how much? $44 billion that is going to be considered in this seating today. Mr. Speaker, it tells me that that is the real reason we are here, because they have to dip into the kitty once again to spend and spend and spend in a manner that is not impacting the life of the ordinary Guyanese. Mr. Speaker, let me say, Mr. Speaker, that you are seeing all around what we stood here and warned. We had no less a person, the highest office holder of the land, threatening to remove contracts from the Public Works Ministry to another. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You all know what I'm talking about. You all know what I'm talking about, right? It is not only you all can speak. I have the mic now and I will speak. You all need to tell the truth that the PSIP is collapsing because of exactly what we warned, that we do not have the capacity locally to carry through that type of project, that we did not have the capacity either in the private sector or the public sector to undertake it. That is why the road from Grove can't be finished, and that is why you all are running around like headless chickens trying to implement a program that we do not have the capacity. Mr. Speaker, as we're talking here about the welfare of Guyanese, I want to point out, sir, I want to point out that Guyanese, the ordinary Guyanese, the working class Guyanese, they're finding it difficult to survive, Mr. Speaker. They're finding it difficult to survive. Mr. Speaker, over the last 2 days, if you were to take an assessment, oil that used to be $200 and something a bottle is now gone to $480. Garlic has increased by another $80. Mr. Speaker, this is the reality that the daily commodities that people need to live in this country, they cannot afford, Mr. Speaker. And then the government announces a measly 8% increase. A measly 8% increase that they will tax. And they have not, sir, they have not even provided an increase that will allow Guyanese to meet the cost of food inflation. And they come here to talk about they care about the people of Guyana. Mr. Speaker, those are the facts, and they do not get away. They cannot get away with denying the facts, you know? Soren Kierkegaard, one of my favorite philosophers, said, you get fooled two ways, by refusing to believe what is true and by believing what is false. And that is what the PPPC administration want the people of Guyana to do. They want us to believe that they care, when every action that they have taken shows that they care about their friends, they care about their families, and they care about their favorites. And that is the end of that. The poor and working class will have to get by however they get by. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that we have to, as a matter of urgency, examine the circumstances that are facing the poor and working class Guyanese, Mr. Speaker. We cannot come into this house and pretend as though we are sitting in ivory towers and we are out of touch with the reality of the poor and working class. And Mr. Speaker, I have 30 minutes to speak. I have already spoken to the bill, and I will use the rest of my time to say to us that we have to make meaningful provision for our people. We have to make meaningful provision for our people, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, We cannot continue like this in this house. We cannot continue like this in this house. Whatever it is we are doing, sir, is failing to reach the people who need it the most. You look at an 8% increase across the board, Mr. Speaker. During our time in office, it was done on a sliding scale so that the people who needed it the most got the most. And those are the facts. Those are the facts. Now you have an increase across the board. The man at the bottom that needs it the most has to compete with the man in the top who already has it, Mr. Speaker. We are saying on this side of the house that people are suffering and we need to do more. We need to do more. We were quite disappointed that we could not debate the cost of living motion. But Mr. Speaker, it is difficult for our people out there. And I'm saying that we came to the House today and we spoke about making it better for the people of Guyana. And you know what bothers me? I am standing here speaking about us intervening for the people of Guyana, and my colleagues on the other side of the House want to talk about relevance. We are speaking about the one and the same thing. We are speaking about the people of Guyana. We are speaking about making their lives better. That is what I am talking about.
Honorable member, I listened and I accepted that's an example about the relevance, so reapply it now to the bill.
Mr. Speaker, I will say this. That we on this side of the House are the duly elected representative of the people of Guyana. Mr. Speaker, in that light, I will address the matters that are relevant to the bill and that I believe are connected to the bill. So, sir, I thank you for your caution, but I want to go on to say this, please. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are asking, sir, based on the representations that we made in the Select Committee, that the Honorable Minister consider the issue of how they compute the interest, as it will bring real, meaningful relief. We do not wait. We do not need to wait to do it, Mr. Speaker. It can be done now. Mr. Speaker, in the minutes they said that they needed the services of an accountant to do this. It cannot be that we cannot find an accountant to do this. It is a question of the will of us, of the legislators in this House. And we are willing to sit with the government and we are willing to hammer out with them a provision, a draft provision to be included to bring the real and meaningful relief that our people need. And so, Mr. Speaker, with those few comments, we want to say that in principle, again, we support the bill, but we believe that we need to demonstrate the legislative courage necessary to deliver real relief to the people of Guyana. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
There you have it.
Thank you very much, honorable member.
There you have it, guys. There you have it. There you have it. MP Rajkumar and MP Walton Desir as well. Yep. There you have it, good folks. There you have it. There you have it. MP Rajkumar and Walton Desir on the higher purchase bill. On the higher purchase bill. You're sharing live or we playing? Folks, we want others to get valid, credible information. That's why we have a passion here for bringing to you, the people, valid, credible information. I wish it was so for Cranticle. I wish it was so for NCN. I wish it was so for DPI. Valid, credible information. Yep. I wish it was so for everybody. I wish it was so. There you have it, guys. The sentiments as expressed by the parliamentary opposition on this hire purchase bill. Could have been a better bill. Anthony Christian could have been a better bill. Robin Morgan, Sierra Bell, Rupina Allen, Tessa Waterman could have been a better bill. But of course, them boys don't want to listen. Them boys don't want to hear at all. They don't want to hear nothing. They don't want to hear anything. It is what it is, guys. And we're so grateful for your company these past few minutes, 57 and counting. 57 and counting. We're going to see you guys right back at this end. Don't forget, guys, we can't do this work without you. We'd love if we could do it ourselves. We can't do it without you. Continue to partner with us, guys. The first day of December, the bills and cable Christmas, they're still coming. They're still coming. They're still coming. Good to have you here with us, guys. Partner with us. We're available via Cash App and Zelle and PayPal, MMG, MoneyGram, Western Union as well. Each donation, guys, keep our program is going. Before you go, guys, make sure you share the live. Make sure you smash that emoji button. And make sure also you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Facebook been giving us the real, a lot of trouble recently. And we find that YouTube is a very stable platform. And we are going to be broadcasting sometimes YouTube first before you even see it on Facebook. Right? YouTube is going to have it. So make sure, even if you still watch us on Facebook, make sure you watch us also on YouTube. Because if we have a problem with Facebook, one night we're ready to come on, for instance, or one day like this we're ready to come on, we may just have to drop a post on Facebook, catch us on YouTube, and we're not going to be broadcasting to Facebook because of sometimes when you're ready to come on, then Facebook acting up. Yesterday morning, it cut our program in half, Facebook. It cut our program in 2 halves and published it on Facebook. It's all kind of trouble, but we're going to find ways to work around it. And YouTube is one of those ways. We haven't had a real problem with YouTube since we've started broadcasting, but 2 years now. But I know what Mark doing over there by Facebook. Zuckerberg, I know what you're doing over there. One set of trouble, one set of problem. So make sure, guys, the link is going to be on our Facebook page. Again, we keep posting ever so often so you can start making that transition over to YouTube. And we're thankful for all the folks who joined us over there. Last night, we had about 900 persons, close to 900 persons watching us via YouTube, right? And those some folks have said our Facebook numbers are going down because people going over to YouTube. That's why, but we don't mind. At the back end, we can still see about 4,000 persons watching us on a nightly basis. So don't get worried, because more folks are going over to Facebook. At the back end, we can see the accumulation of who's watching us on YouTube, who's watching us on Facebook, and we can see those numbers. So we're not worried, guys. Once you guys keep tuning in, we'll keep churning out the content. Thanks for joining us. That's going to do it for us at this end, folks. We're going to see you guys right back here this evening, guys, for our final program for the day. That's going to do it for us. Stay safe out there. Maria Vera, Patty Marshall, Landon Thomas, and Dolly Anderson, Linton, Carmilla, y'all stay safe out there. Marlon Lorimer, and all the other folks, Giselle Chipper, y'all stay safe out there, guys. We're going to see you guys right back here this evening. Share the live before you go. Smash that emoji button, folks, and partner with us as well. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe.